This is Rock Leach with Social Fire. Prophet Manasseh Jordan has come out and said that he is an alleged victim of Bishop T.D. Jakes. Now, when we look at this, he was first sharing videos at the beginning of the year, sharing that he was going to expose the church, and he did not say that he was a victim. Now, he's saying that he's a victim. However, you know how the internet is. We found some receipts from his past that may show that he is actually a con artist. Prophet Manasseh Jordan. Let's talk about it. Let's go.
Florida man facing multiple lawsuits for robo-dialing thousands of people here in the Bay Area and across the country.
Manasseh Jordan calls himself a prophet, but those on the receiving end of his messages call him a con man.
Taking Action reporter Jackie Calloway explains why many say they felt powerless to stop him.
Hello?
Robocalls.
My dearest friend, this is Prophet Manasseh.
Many of them posted online.
Email me immediately.
Real nauseating, something you don't want to hear.
Typically promising a financial blessing.
And it also had a prosperity blessing.
Larry Simpson says he never asked the self-proclaimed prophet,
And I feel it right now,
Yakim Manasseh Jordan, for any prayers.
It really got old quick.
But Larry did ask that his cell phone number be taken off the prophet's list.
The message was, don't call me anymore.
What happened then?
Well, then the calls doubled and sometimes tripled. I probably got close to 300 calls in a year's time.
I found 15 federal lawsuits filed against Jordan or Manasseh Jordan Ministry since 2013. A third of them right here in Florida.
It's a pre-recorded message to start with, so that violates the law automatically.
The unsolicited robodialing of cell phones violates federal law. Morgan & Morgan attorney Tav Gomez recently filed suit against Jordan on behalf of Brian Bankos.
It was very, very frustrating.
the Lord began to speak to me, and he showed me major losses that you have experienced over the last 2 to 5 years.
In the lawsuit, Brian accuses the prophet of ringing his phone more than 300 times in a single year.
Having 8 to 9 different numbers call you, it becomes a battle.
Attempts to block the calls failed because the ministry dialed from dozens of numbers.
575-347, locally 813-571-828-307.
In an online interview, Jordan describes his work as a higher calling.
I feel that my calling is to touch the people.
And in a statement, Jordan's PR rep told us, the call complaints and issues have been addressed, and there always has been and remains the option for callers to be removed. Larry and Brian say the calls stopped, but many of the 100 people who contacted Morgan & Morgan claim the ministry ignored their requests to be taken off the list.
They had never called in to get a prayer.
And in some cases, the trouble started after getting a new cell number.
You've been having people attacking you.
I'm glad that there are some people that, want to see this guy nailed.
Now, if you or someone you know was dealing with repeated robocalls to their cell phone, we've got some help for you. Find me on Facebook. That's Action News Jackie. Click like, and then you'll see I've actually posted a link to the Federal Trade Commission. It's right near the top, and you can report it there. I'm Jackie Calloway, taking action for you.
Now, what this is a slander campaign that's been put on by one Larry Reid, who is a YouTube blogger. Now, what Larry does is he throws several rocks, and he's just hoping one of those rocks will be big enough to knock Bishop T.D. Jakes down. Now, Manasseh Jordan is a son of Bishop Jordan. Bishop Jordan is known as the master prophet, and his father and son, Manasseh and him did not have a good relationship, and they were estranged for a little while, and Larry credits himself for bringing them together. Now, if you go back and you look, and I'm going to add that video here as well, Manasseh says in his first video when he's talking about exposing the churches, he said that he said, I am not a victim. But then video after video comes out, and eventually he's saying, I was a victim of grooming. Now, the only person that said in his first video, because in his first video, he did not say that Bishop Jakes was the one who groomed him or did something inappropriate. He did not say that. However, Larry Reid came out and said that he was talking about Bishop Jakes. And so when we look at this, if you just take a look at it, what's going to eventually happen is that this is all going to go away, and I'm going to explain how. This is a slander campaign. What will happen is that Manasseh Jordan can't go to court. He can't go to court because he already, it will be challenged with his integrity. His word is not good because he already has a reputation as being a con artist. So he's not going to go to court. And whenever you file an official complaint, it leads to going to court. Now, what's going to happen? Or some settlement outside of court. So what's going to happen is that Larry Reid then will go ahead and push forth and say that the other victims and stuff got paid off by Jakes. And they'll continue that narrative to just say that Jakes is a bad person and just go down that road without any receipts. That's the only way this can proceed forth, is by going forth and saying that Jakes is a bad person, blah, 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 but there will be no proof. Just like now, there is no proof. And you got to be careful of people who are always talking about proof, but I got the proof, but you got to come subscribe to my Patreon to see the proof. And then when you look at them emails, they're not even right. The text message that they're showing you, you ought to be able to recognize manipulation. But supposedly Larry Reid took some pictures, photos with his phone of Prophet Manasseh's text messages without Manasseh's permission, which is really honestly thievery. That's stealing. But if you look at what he showed, you'll see that at the top of the text message, where it says Bishop T.D. Jakes, it says to as opposed to from. I thought this was a text message that was received from him, or to. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And at the bottom, why are there spaces in between thinking and of? What is going on there? I just see this just doesn't pass the smell test. It doesn't pass the smell test. But I want to know your thoughts. Jump down in the comments and let me know what you think about all of this. Larry Reid and Prophet Manasseh Jordan.